Okay, this video is about whether or not you have the possibility of being bitten by a snake in Thailand. I have the website thailandsnakes.com, and I have a lot of people writing me and commenting about how afraid they are about snakes in Thailand, which is understandable. I mean, snakes are one of the top 5 fears of people around the world. I've heard that it was the top 1, but maybe lightning is better than that. But yeah, so it's something that's on people's minds whenever they come here. My mom, I post a lot of snake photos on my Facebook and things, so she was petrified to come here, but eventually she did. She got over the fear. I drilled it into her head, that you're not likely to see them even, unless you're looking. So, just a little bit of background about snakes in Thailand. I've been catching snakes here for something like 7 years, and I've only caught about 60 species, 60, 70 species, different species, and there are more than 200 species in Thailand. So this gives you a little bit of an idea, because I'm going to look for snakes at night. Usually they come out at night, more of them do. So I'm going to look for them, and I can only find 60 different species. So there's 140 species that are very hard to find, and that's kind of the situation all over Thailand. If you come to Thailand for a day, for 3 days, for a week, for a month, there's a very slight chance you're going to see a snake. And the snakes that you see most often are going to be tree snakes. The golden tree snake, also called the flying snake. It only glides from the trees, and you'll never see it. You'll never see it do that in the wild. Those are they have some venom, but if they bite you repeatedly, you're not going to have any problem. They won't, because they're so fast they get away before you even see them usually. The time when you will most likely see a snake would be in the early evening or in the evening. Snakes come out when it's cooler, after the sun goes down, and that's when you're going to see a snake, if you see one at all. The snakes that you see at night can be bad. I mean, they can be dangerous. The Malayan Pit Viper is the one snake that causes the most deaths in Thailand, and there's very few. There might be 4 or 5 people a year that are bitten by that snake and that actually die. That's probably the worst snake that you really need to look out for, because it's really a lazy or a dumb snake. It just kind of stays on the ground. It will feel you walking toward it. Snakes don't have ears, but they'll feel the vibration of you walking toward it, but they won't even move, So they move or they bite whenever they're stepped on or stepped next to. So that's what happens with those snakes. If you carry a flashlight at night and watch the ground where you're walking, you're not going to step on it, because they're usually pretty thick. The adults are about like this thick. Almost as thick as my wrist. I have thin wrists, but and the juveniles are only about this big and about as thick as my finger. They're brown and they have diamonds on the top, so that's how you can tell. Diamonds are triangles that are together. Look like hourglasses almost. Cobras. Yeah, there are cobras all over Thailand. King cobras are all over Asia. Monocled cobras are all over, everywhere from Bangkok and down, even into Trot and stuff. The monocled cobras are there. In the far northeast, like Isan, you won't find monocled cobras very much. You might find spitting cobras. In the north, in Chiang Mai, you probably won't find monocled cobras, but you may find spitting cobras. And then all over southern Thailand. Southern Thailand has more snakes per kilometer than northern Thailand, and more dangerous snakes. We have almost all the vipers down here, and the cobras, the crates, just about anything that'll get you. But again, you're not likely to see a snake even. You're definitely not likely to get bitten by a snake. If you are bitten by a snake, you're very unlikely to die from a snake bite. On my ThailandSnakes.com page, I have a page for bites, bite treatment, and I'll link it in this description of this video. But so that's a little bit about snakes in Thailand. Unless you're really looking for them with a flashlight at night, you're not likely to find any snakes. There are 200 plus species of snake in Thailand. About 60 or so are venomous. Of those, there's not that many that are deadly. I mean, a couple of the vipers, and this is if you get a good bite and you can't get to a hospital for hours or days, you might die. A crate, the yellow-black or the black-white bands, those snakes are very dangerous. Never go anywhere near those. The cobras are all very dangerous because they're unpredictable, they're fast. And you definitely don't want to corner one. The cobras are very active snakes and they're not aggressive, they're always defensive, they never strike out of aggression. You're not walking down a path and then a snake sees you and comes over and grabs you. Never, that will never ever happen. If you're walking down a path, the snake will take off immediately, So the only way you're going to get bitten by a snake is to step right on it or to step right beside it. Or if you're playing with it or you're trying to get a picture of it or something and you kind of corner it or something and it can't turn around to flee, it may strike at that point. So I'm going to do some other snake videos, some informational videos, but that's just a basic one. You're relatively, I think you're very safe in Thailand. I would say you're extremely safe in Thailand from snake bite, unless you're running through a path where you're brushing the green on the side, or maybe the greenery covers the path a bit and you're just kind of forging through. You may get bit by a viper there or something on the ground, or centipedes, termites, ants, whatever. But as long as you can see where you're walking on the path, you should be fine. And definitely do watch where you walk as you walk through the jungle, as you walk anywhere really. Just kind of make sure where you're stepping. And if you have small children, make sure for them that you're watching where they're going to step as well. Grass any higher than like this, it's very hard to see a snake. A snake can get right down on the bottom, and the grass will be above it and you won't see it. So I never walk in grass that's high. Never ever like this high. Forget it. You don't know what's in there, especially the Malayan Pit Viper. And I don't walk on paths and I don't run on paths that are through the jungle where the ferns are hitting my legs or anything is hitting my legs or brushing against me a lot, because the vipers like to rest on those plants a couple feet off the ground, foot off the ground even, and you're almost asking for a strike if you brush into one of those plants where a viper is laying. Okay, that's about it. I think that's enough information.